Yeah, it was a very easy process. The only thing is like there's different packages, so you can see if you want the editing service, if you want the interior design. My partner in crime, Jarek Goncalves, actually made my cover, which is
It's beautiful.
so happy that he's working with me on on this journey of my own. And so, but they do have cover design if you are interested in that, and they'll be able to walk you through it. And then, yeah, just so you'll be able to approve the final proofs. And we had to go back and forth a couple of times with that. That was the only thing. It was just, we asked them to make sure that they made this change. They didn't necessarily do it, and just really to stay on top of them for the final proofing process, which, could be for multiple publishers. I don't know if that's a problem across the board. But.
What made you decide to self-publish?
I was doing a lot of research. I was looking at traditional publishing. I was looking at self-publishing, and of course, I went with the self-publishing route because I liked having control. And I'm a little bit of a control freak.
I have a story about that. Go ahead.
I like having control. I like having a say as to my cover design, as to how it's going to look, and even with the traditional publishing, you still, especially for a new author, have to still self-promote themselves for the most part. Unless you're a big name like a Stephen King or someone, they're not going to allocate the resources to you unless you're a bigger name.
This is a familiar story. I have a friend who actually did some of the hosting on the show and then was a guest, Dina Santarelli. And when her book was ready, she actually had an agent. The hardest part of this business is to get an agent who believes in your project and is willing to present you to the publishers. And she presented her to 10 of the big publishers. They all said no, not because they didn't like the book, but for various other reasons. This is not a good time in publishing anyway. And so she sat back and she spoke with her agent, and when they considered what kind of support they were going to get and resources they were going to get from a traditional publisher to market the book, they said, go self, simply because, as you said, you have complete control over it. And you end up doing your own marketing anyway.
Exactly. Okay. And I knew like Amazon was the place to be, and I definitely knew I wanted to be there. And yeah, just was the right opportunity for me. But I definitely encourage writers to do their own research, to look at both avenues. So don't just go down the traditional route just because you think that there's a stigma against self-publishing. That's ridiculous. Like so many self-published authors are now like the big names like E.L. James for the 50 Shades of Grey. They usually started off doing the self-publishing route. And that's how I think a lot of the bigger publishing houses are finding, if you already have a following, if you already have people, then they might pick you up. But, it's one of those things where definitely do the research and talk to people, talk to other authors and see what they've done.
What are you doing as far as marketing is concerned?
I have a Twitter account at Kuch Melissa. I also have a website. I have a Facebook page. So definitely social media, definitely be there. It's very important. And just to just like keep people updated as to what you're doing. Like for today, I said, I'm here today for the Writer's Dream. Just to get people.
You have a dedicated book page.
A dedicated book page, Hypothesis of Giants, as well as an author one as well. Okay. And and
you're doing the show today.
Doing the show today, was very happy about, and just getting my name out and help promote the book.
Well, this show is a good platform for marketing because I put it on YouTube, and then from there you can copy the code and go into Facebook and websites and wherever you want to go with it. Have you done libraries?
Haven't done libraries yet. I did a book.
Libraries are hard to crack.
They are. And even like I grew up in Hicksville, and I went to the Hicksville Public Library, and I said, "Hey guys, I have a book." You would think, "Oh, right, open arms. Oh, let's see what our schedule looks like." And I was like, "Okay."
They're not keen on book talks. I have found that out. But joining the local writers organizations really are very helpful. Long Island Authors Group, Long Island Children's Writers and Illustrators, as we have spoken about. And it takes time. It really takes time to build a little name recognition. I did the Massapequa Park Street Fair on Sunday, and I did not sell a lot of books. However, there was name recognition. People would come up and they say, "Oh yeah, I saw you on YouTube. Oh yeah, I saw you in an article in Newsday." So it builds slowly, and you just really have to keep at it, keep on top of it, and be patient. Yeah, what was the biggest challenge of writing this book?
The biggest challenge of writing? Well, writing itself is always a challenge, but I find it, for me, it's my creative outlet. Like, especially I'm working throughout the day, 9 to 6, and, it's a great way for me to really be able to let my creativity run wild. And for me, it's fun, as well as there are times you want to pull your hair out and you want to throw things across the room. But
When do you have time to write if you're working?
yeah, you're right. That's the biggest challenge was time. I think that was the biggest challenge, because I write sometimes during the commute, but now it's easier. I'm on the Long Island Railroad, but when I was on the subway, there's no way when you're packed in like sardines. I mean, but you do find some really great inspiration.
I love the subway.
On the subway,
I'm
telling
the subway.
you.
The subway has many life lessons in it, doesn't it?
It does.
I thought about writing a book about traveling on the subway. Because I do, when I write the books, I do two things. One of them is I take a writing course while I'm writing the book, because I have to hand in assignments. So there's time pressure, I have to do it.
Great idea.
And then the other thing is that because I like the subway and because I end up sometimes traveling by plane and whatnot, that's where I write, because home is so distracting.
It is. And when you're thinking, I have to get the dishes done, I have to do this, I have to put the laundry
And I
in.
wrote when I was writing full-time, when I was working full-time, and it is very much a challenge.
But I tell people, people have said, oh my God, I could never do it, And I said, well, you have time to go get that extra drink at happy hour. You have time to watch that TV show. If you really love something, you find time. And
Also,
even if you're writing till like 2 a.m., you find time to do it.
And also, you're keying into your daydreams, and all of us daydream because it's how our mind rests. So while you're keying into the daydreams, you can be taking notes at the same time. So what's in the future for you?
So in the future, I have book 2 of the series in the works. It's going to be called The Change Agent, and I'm hoping to release that by early 2014. So now in the editing phase, so getting back into that mode of writing, rewriting again.
Yes, that's where I am with my third book.
But I can't wait. I'm so excited to share. Already people are asking, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? We can't wait for the next book. So definitely doing my best to make sure it's ready by the beginning of 2014. So that's where I am now. And then, and then just continuing to market this book and getting the word out.
Well, that's going to be the most challenging part, because obviously you love writing and you're very imaginative and creative. So whatever you produce is going to be good. But marketing, yes, will be the challenge. So it was great to talk to you.
Thank you.
I think that I'm reading the book, and I'm hoping to finish it. And oftentimes I don't get a chance to finish everybody's book, but I really do. I'm really into this book now. So anything else?
I just tell if I have any words of advice to any aspiring authors
words of
out
advice
there.
would be good.
Don't give up. And I think I've had, since I started writing back in 3rd grade, inspired by my 3rd grade teacher, Lisa Dauber, and from that moment I just knew I was going to be a writer, and it's
And
one
you
of
are.
And I am. And so
And you
don't
are.
give up. If that's your dream, you just got to do it.
It was great to have you,
Thank you
Melissa.
so much, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you.